All right, thank you guys. Happy Wednesday to you. And if you really end up enjoying this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by hitting that like button. And if you haven't already joined the Brock Page delegation, please feel free to do that right now by tapping that subscribe button below. I'm sure a boogie behind us is a subscriber. I think I saw it on the YouTube analytics the other day, but regardless of that, it's just speculation. Let's go ahead and dive into some, what are we doing here? College basketball free plays here, and we're going to start with the Virginia Tech Hokies taking on the Louisville Cardinals, 6:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the KFC Yum Center. The Louisville Cardinals are the 4.5-point favorite at home, Total's 142 and a hook. And if you like Virginia Tech in an upset here, they're plus $1.60 on the money line. We're 6-1 with a push in our last 8 Underdog tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 8-2 with a push in our last 11 Underdog tier package picks in that same category. And if you want to unlock today's Underdog tier package pick, it's only going to cost you just $4.99. Now, we currently have a community of over 775 handicappers just like you who are signed up and active on that page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below, and that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, as you can tell, this game currently is not on our big screen behind me, but anyway, Virginia Tech failed to cover the number in 3 out of their last 6, and those were failures to cover against the likes of Penn State and VMI. Now, as a matter of fact, that Penn State game resulted in a 20-point blowout loss to the Nittany Lions. Now, the Hokies have lost their last 7 straight meetings with Louisville, and speaking of the Cards, they're on a 3-game winning streak themselves with victories over Boston College, Kentucky, and Pitt during that span. The Cardinals are also a perfect 5-0 at the KFC Yum Center, and they shoot 50% from the field on their home court. Carlik Jones is scoring over 16 points a night, 7 boards and 5 assists for the senior. Meanwhile, David Johnson's also scoring over 14 points a game himself, 6 rebounds and 4 assists a night for the 6'5 sophomore. The Cardinals are holding their opponents to just 58 points per contest in their home arena. They're also holding them to just 27% shooting from beyond the arc. Now, total-wise, Louisville saw their last 3 straight stay under the posted number, 4-1 to the under in their last 5. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech saw 3 out of their last 5 stay under the line themselves, throwing out the Miami game. I'm going to lean toward the Louisville Cardinals, minus 4.5, and the under 142 and a hook. And with that said, guys, before we go ahead and move on, I'm forgetting my lines here with this video here today. I don't know why, but it's a weird Wednesday. It's a hump day Wednesday. But anyway, guys, before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for college basketball here on a Wednesday. But before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just have to quickly remind you once again that we are 6-1 with a push in our last 8 Underdog tier package plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. We are also 8-2 with a push in our last 11 Underdog tier package picks on that site as well. And if you want to unlock today's Underdog tier package pick, it's only going to cost you just $4.99. And just remember, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. So once again, when you sign up for one of my memberships on Patreon, you instantly get access to all the lesser expensive tiers absolutely free. The cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. So not only are you going to get the picks with the package you bought, you're going to get all the picks in the lesser expensive tiers as well. Exceptional value there. And for those who are wondering, what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and what I do on my Patreon site, well, it's certainly a good question. What I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. Not every single game on the board. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way versus wagering on every single game on the slate, side and total, like I do here with my free leans on YouTube. Now, guys, we currently have a community of over 775 handicappers, just like you, who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, I'd love to have you. I highly recommend it. And the link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we're going to take a look at some SEC action. I'm talking about Arkansas squaring off against Tennessee. And that's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Thompson Bowling Arena. There we go. Tennessee's -8.5, totals 142 and a hook. Now, the Vols have failed to cover the number in 2 out of their last 3, and those were failures to cover against Alabama and SC Upstate. That's South Carolina Upstate, one of the worst teams to be playing the game right now. But anyway, that Bama game resulted in an 8-point outright loss where the Vols were held to just 63 total points. Now, Tennessee's lost 7 out of their last 10 meetings with the Razorbacks. And speaking of Arkansas, they've won 9 of 10 thus far in the season, 6-3 against the spread in their last 9 qualifying ball games. The Razorbacks were averaging 89 points a night, and they're holding their opponents to just 38% shooting from the field. Now, Moses Moody is scoring 17 points a game, 6 boards and a couple assists for the freshman. Moody's also recorded 14 steals and 7 blocks on the season. Meanwhile, J.D. Notae's scoring over 15 points a night, 3 boards and 3 assists for the 6'1 guard. Notae's got 13 steals and 6 blocks defensively himself. Now, the Razorbacks are giving up just 65 points per contest, and they're holding their opponents to just 30% shooting from downtown. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Arkansas's last 5 straight all got over the number. Meanwhile, 2 out of Tennessee's last 4 got over the line themselves, throwing out the Bama loss. I'm going to lean toward the underdog, Arkansas Razorbacks plus 8.5 and the over 142 and a hook. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be St. John's versus Xavier, and that's going to be an 8 p.m. Eastern start time. The Xavier Musketeers are -6.5 at home, totals 155, juice to the under. Xavier scoring over 80 points a night, 49% shooting from the field. They've actually beaten St. John's 10 straight times, and they hold a record of 7-3 against the spread in those meetings. Now, Zach Freemantle scoring 17 points a game this season, 8 boards and a couple assists a night for the 6'9 forward. Also can't forget about Paul Scruggs, who's also scoring 15 points a game himself, 7 assists and a couple of steals a night for Paul. Now, Scruggs is making 81% of his free throws, and he has 19 total steals on the season. He's certainly been a pest on the defensive end of the court. Now, the Musketeers are taking on a St. John's program who lost 3 out of their last 4. And they also failed to cover the point spread in 5 out of their last 7 contests. Now, the Red Storm defensively gives up they give up over 80 points a game, as well as 40% shooting from beyond the arc. The Red Storms also lost 3 of 4 away from home this season. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, St. John's is 3-0 to the over in their last 3, 80% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Xavier 6-2 to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the Xavier Musketeers, -6.5, and the over 155. All right, next contest should be a good one. It is some Big Ten action, some top 25 action as well. I'm talking about Minnesota versus Michigan, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Chrysler Center. The Michigan Wolverines are -7 at home, numbers 151.5. And if you like the Gophers in this spot here, they're plus 255 for an upset win away from home. Now, Minnesota is 0-2 straight up on the road this season. 82 points a game they gave up on average in those 2 contests. They also let their opponents shoot over 52% from the field in those ball games. Minnesota's also had, a pretty tough time with Michigan in recent seasons. Just 2-8 straight up in their last 10 meetings. And speaking of the Wolverines, they're a perfect 9-0 on the season, and a nice little 3-game heater against the spread as well. The Wolverines are officially 7-2 against the number thus far in the season. They're scoring 83 points a night and shooting 52% from the field. Now, Hunter Dickinson scoring 17 points a game, 8 rebounds and a couple of blocks for the 7-1 center. Meanwhile, Isaiah Livers is also scoring 14 points a game himself, 5 rebounds and a couple assists for the forward. Michigan gives up just 67 points a game in their house, and they're holding their competition to just 36% shooting from the field on their home court as well. That is very, very impressive defensively. But anyway, total-wise, Michigan is 2-0 to the over in their last couple of games, 71% to the over at home. Meanwhile, the Gophers saw 5 out of their last 7 get over the line themselves, of course, throwing out the Ohio State game. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the Michigan Wolverines -7 in the over 151.5. All right, next matchup, going back into the SEC. I'm talking about Texas A&M versus South Carolina, 9 p.m. Eastern tip. The Gamecocks of South Carolina are -4 at home, numbers 136 flat. And if you like the Aggies in an upset here, they're plus $1.60 for some moneyline cash. Now, the Aggies have won 3 out of their last 4 ball games, just 63 points a game they're giving up. Emmanuel Miller scoring over 17 points a night, 9 boards and a couple assists for the forward. Meanwhile, Quentin Rampage Jackson is also scoring a dozen a night, along with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. I don't know if they call him Rampage or not. I'm going to always call him Quentin Rampage Jackson. But anyway, Rampage has also recorded 11 steals on the season defensively. I've got to imagine they've called him Rampage Jackson at some point in his life. But anyway, they're taking on a South Carolina team who failed to cover the point spread in 4 out of their last 5 outings. Just 69 points a game they're averaging offensively. Now, the Gamecocks haven't been shooting the long ball very well either, just 30% shooting from long range. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Aggies saw their last 5 straight contests all stay under the posted total, 75% to the under overall for this season. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the underdog Texas A&M Aggies +4 and the under 136. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be Seton Hall versus Creighton, 9 p.m. Eastern start time. The Creighton Blue Jays are -5, totals 148. Creighton's on a 4-game heater right now themselves, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. The Blue Jays are 5-1 straight up at home, and they average 84 points a game as the official home team. Marcus Zagorowski scoring over 14 points a game for the Blue Jays, 4 boards and 5 assists a night for the starting guard. Meanwhile, senior Denzel Mahoney is also scoring 14 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds and a couple assists. Now, one more thing to add about Mahoney, he's recorded 11 steals defensively as well. And speaking of defense, the Blue Jays are giving up just 39% shooting from the field. Very good defensively, tough to get a clean shot against them. They're taking on a Seton Hall squad who gives up 74 points a game on the road. The Pirates have also failed to cover the number in 2 out of their last 4. Both were in-conference ball games. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Seton Hall's last 3 contests got over the posted number, throwing out the Butler game. The Pirates are officially 4-2 to the over away from home. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Creighton's 4-2 to the over on their home court themselves. I got to go ahead and lean toward the, one more thing. The Blue Jays went 67% to the over in their last 9 outings at any location. So I'm going to have to go ahead and lean toward the Creighton Blue Jays -5 and the over 148. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Oklahoma versus Baylor, 9 p.m. East. The Baylor Bears are -11, totals 150.5. Baylor scoring nearly 95 points a game at home, 52% field goal percentage overall for the season offensively. The Bears are a perfect 9-0 straight up on the season, and they covered the number in 7 out of those 9 ball games. That's most important if you're backing Baylor. Got to cover the number. Now, Jared Butler scoring 16 points a game, 3 boards, 6 assists for the junior. Butler's also got 18 total steals on the season, along with 5 blocks. Maceo Teague is also scoring 16 points a game himself, 4 boards and a couple assists for the 6'4 guard. Teague's also drilling 86% of his free throws. Baylor is giving up just 61 points a game at home and just 40% shooting from the field. Now they're taking on an Oklahoma squad who failed to cover the number in 2 out of their last 3, throwing out the West Virginia game. Now the Sooners also dropped 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Baylor, and they find themselves giving up nearly 90 points a game on the road this season. Now, total-wise, the Sooners are 2-0 to the over when traveling. No real surprise there. Baylor saw 3 out of their last 6 get over the line themselves, throwing out the Iowa State contest. I'm going to lean toward the Baylor Bears, -11, and the over 150.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 6-1 with a push in our last 8 underdog tier package picks. I like the Louisville Cardinals, -4.5, under 142 and a hook. I also like Arkansas, +8.5, over 142.5. I'm leaning towards Xavier, -6.5, over 155. I also like Michigan, -7, over 151.5. I like Texas A&M, +4, under 136. I also like Creighton, -5, over 148. And last but certainly not least, please give this video a thumbs up right now if you enjoyed it. And please feel free to subscribe right now if you haven't done so already. I'd greatly appreciate if you did both of those things. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Baylor Bears, -11, and the over 150 and a hook in that game. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs. And from our YouTube platform, shout-out to Z-Code System Picks. Sounds very technological. Z-Code System Picks. Shout-out to Eris Garcia, Johnny Mercado, Jordan Rabowski, Naruto Yuzu, Brent Barrett, Francis Abutas, Marquise Foster, Hood Trucker, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Abdur Rahman Muhammad. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. Guys, if you end up deciding to get, a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So you're good through the end of the month if you sign up today. And then if you're enrolled in AutoPay, we'll just bill you again on the 1st of February. So once again, we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Also got to remind you guys, if you end up getting a package here today, all your cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. So I've been pushing the Underdog package. It's been red hot over the past couple of weeks. If you end up getting the Underdog tier package for $4.99, all the different memberships that are cheaper than that are included. So you're going to get picks from those tiers as well. So just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. And once again, you're going to have access to those plays through the end of the month. So a lot of great value there. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.